And we're back with more legal news you can use here on Talking Law TV with our viewer mail segment. Now, there's a little mailbag full of letters, and sometimes they're emails, sometimes they're text messages, sometimes they're telephone calls.
Never cash in envelopes.
Never cash. Not even municipal bonds, nothing. It's terrible. But tonight we've got enough together to do a DUI question just for you, Doug. So these are all DUI related. And the first one is DUI or DWI really a big problem, or is this just a bunch of hype? It seems to be in the news more lately.
It is a continuing problem in the sense it is a serious issue. There's nobody, to include me, anybody, wants drunk drivers on the road. I saw an article in the newspaper a few weeks back. An so-called insurance expert was talking about the carnage on our highways by drunk drivers. Well, any death is too many. But the fact is, far more people are killed by people that run stop signs, speed, run red lights than drunk drivers. Drunk drivers may kill maybe 2% of the accidents caused fatality-wise by an actual drunk driver. When you look at the statistics, listen to what the person's saying, and sometimes they're just flat wrong or lying. But when they say an alcohol-related crash, that means maybe the passenger was intoxicated, not the driver. They call that an alcohol-related accident. DUI is continuing concern because people that do drive after drinking too much are a hazard to everybody. And we've had previous shows where I think Gene talked about the host liability and that sort of thing. It's not good behavior. Don't do it. But many people are being hurt because they're not actually impaired. They're just over the artificial legal limit.
Okay, your next question is from Stan in Pooler. Is it safer to drink beer, wine, or hard liquor?
Yes. The reason we have different normal quantities, whether you're drinking a shot, 1.5 ounce, or a 5-ounce glass of wine, or a 12-ounce beer, or some folks 20-ounce, is the alcohol content roughly is the same for those different quantities. The alcohol level is about the same, so each of them is equivalent to the same alcohol and will have the same impairing ability to the human body. So any of those will get you equally drunk if you drink the same number of each of them. Doesn't matter what you drink, you're still getting drunk.
And what about drugs and pot and so forth?
Well, I have cases where the officer will write somebody a DUI, arrest them for DUI because the officer smells marijuana. If the person is actually high on the marijuana at the time of driving, that's a valid DUI charge. You shouldn't be driving under the influence of that marijuana. But just because you smell marijuana, it can stay in the car upholstery and be activated. You can smell it by pushing against the car seat, or it's on the person's clothes because they smoked earlier in the day. It's not coursing through their bloodstream then or into their brain. That's where the problem occurs, usually in the brain. So when an officer says, I stopped him for weaving on the roadway and arrested him for being marijuana drunk driver, marijuana doesn't generally cause you to weave. It more causes things like if a pedestrian were to step into the front of the car, the driver says, groovy, instead of stopping. I mean, that's a silly example, but it's not impairing your physical ability, it's your mental with marijuana. So I get suspect when an officer has arrested somebody for DUI claiming they're a less safe impaired driver when he's saying they were weaving. That's probably a BS case.
Okay. And our next one is from Sheila of the South Side. What does BAC mean?
Either blood alcohol concentration or breath alcohol concentration, how much alcohol is coursing through your body at the moment. And of course, the BAC violation is either a .02 for under 21 drivers, .04 for commercial drivers in a commercial rig, or .08 or more for adults 21 and over, or in a boat, .10.
What about a pilot?
Pilot, I haven't seen a charge of driving under the influence of a pilot, but any measurable alcohol is prohibited by them, just like any measurable alcohol with a commercial driver. You're out of service for 24 hours, and you're certainly going to be disciplined by the airline for any alcohol. And, well, remember the guy that was going through the security checkpoint, and they hauled him out of there.
Okay. Our next one is from Reggie in Savannah. Do I have to take a breath analyzer test?
You ain't got to do nothing, my friend. Ain't got to do nothing. I do suggest you roll down the window, or you're going to lose that window. That might be one thing you do have to do, and you have to give them your license and insurance. But you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to perform those tests. I call all of those tests just warm-up exercises to get ready to go to jail, because if you're out there on the roadway, the officer is already suspecting you've got a problem, and these are not tests you're asked to do that you successfully did to get your license. These are tests to make the officer able to write something down in his or her report that confirms or supports his belief you're under the influence. So he's looking to make book on you, not really testing to see if he should let you go.
Okay.
In most cases.
And the next one we sort of covered is, can I be charged with DWI after doing drugs? And they have a list of drugs, so this person apparently, in this pharmaceutical rep, I imagine.
Let me address that issue real quick this way and say, people get in trouble all the time. They took their prescription drug, no alcohol, maybe they're on Vicodin or Oxycontin or something, and they're feeling a little loopy. Well, they're as dangerous as the person with alcohol, and they ought to be arrested for drunk driving, but they have to be found to, beyond reasonable doubt, to be convicted of driving that they are rendered incapable of driving safely, rendered incapable by that drug. If so, they can be convicted on anything, aspirin or Tylenol.
How do they test for that?
The officer will ask for a blood test. And if they don't get a blood test, then the officer has a problem proving what's in them, except by the visual observations.
Okay, the next one is, what will happen if I get another DUI conviction, assuming this person's already had one?
Bad things happen. Bad things happen on number 2, 3, 4, 10. And I suggest that they, on the first one, didn't have a lawyer that was diligent to make sure the person got the evaluation immediately, got treatment immediately to try and prevent number 2. But loss of license for a year to begin with, minimum 90 days in jail sentence. The judge can suspend most of that. But all kinds of consequences.
Okay, quick answer on this one. Are there alternative penalties for DUI?
Some people think in terms of house arrest instead of real jail. Nah, not happening. None of that. They're going to jail if the law requires it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Doug. We have also another feature we'd like to talk to you tonight about on the show. If you miss an episode of Talking Law TV or look in our schedule and like to find one of them, we also have a new feature this year where you can watch any show anytime, 24/7, through our website, talkinglawtv.com. So check it out. We host on both YouTube and Vimeo, and you can watch any segment anytime. If you have a question for Doug or any of the Talking Law TV lawyers, you can reach them through 888-203-7LAW or through our website, talkinglawtv.com. Make it a great week, and we'll see you next week here with more legal news you can use on Talking Law TV. Good night, everybody.
Closed captioning services provided by the Web Advantage. Design, hosting, and multimedia solutions for businesses like yours. Produced by Tandem Productions. Distributed by Legal Eagle USA.